Hey, good afternoon. Today is November the 3rd. This is the beginning of, I guess, the Thanksgiving Christmas season. I've got a Georgia Bulldog guest with me, Mr. James Walls, and we're coming off of a big W against them Florida Gators. What you think about that game, James?
Still recovering over it. So hey Dave, hey, it's good to talk with you. You know, the game scared me to death, made me happy, made me laugh, made me cry, made me want to throw something at the TV, I guess just like all Georgia games lately.
Yes. Well, that's been kind of a tradition. I wouldn't say we go every year. My little group of friends. I've got about four friends that we try to get to a couple games every year. And I'd like the Florida game, not because of not because of the rivalry, because they kind of suck right now,
Right.
but just because you get a little bit of beach time in. I like when you can go for a whole weekend. I like any road trip that requires you to go for a couple days.
So I've never been to the Georgia Florida game in Jacksonville. And, I was at Georgia, much like you, but I was at Georgia during the whole Spurrier reign. And so I absolutely hate Florida. It's a one-game season, in my opinion, right? I mean, as long as we beat Florida, I consider us undefeated for the year. But I was at the game when Florida came to Athens and played,
Yes.
they threw a touchdown pass with, I don't know, 20 seconds left to go up by 300 points, and I've got to see
I was
that
in the
live.
bar
So
by that time. I was at that game and I left just after halftime because it was way out of hand. And there was a big baseball game that night, if you remember correctly.
Oh yeah, that was fun when Georgia was playing. Then you'd have the playoffs or the World Series afterward. That was
The
pretty cool.
Braves won the World Series for the first time that night. And I remember the Gator fans were all cheering, and I'm like, no, hell no, that ain't y'all's team. Yeah, you got your W earlier. Y'all need to be quiet. This is our victory. So it turned
That's
out not
true.
being so bad. My excitement for which not excitement, my hatred for teams seems to wane a little bit now that we're two-time national champions. I don't hate as much, but I guess it has a lot to do with we've been beating the hell out of people over and over and over, except for Alabama. So, and I still don't hate Alabama yet because every other team I felt like there was no reason they should be beating us every year. Like I hated Auburn because there's no
Right.
reason that Podunk Town should have beat us. Seems like every year back in the day. In Tennessee, I was like, why would anyone go to that school? And yet they beat us every year. And now,
Yeah.
I even cheer for Georgia Tech. What do you think about
I
that?
think some of it's maturity. I think back in the day, I couldn't physically understand how a person could root for another team besides Georgia. I mean, it just didn't make sense to me. It was a severe personality flaw if you were rooting for, any other team besides Georgia. And if we lost, heaven forbid, we lost a game, it just ruined me for,
Yeah,
it depends on who we lost to, but it would ruin me for, weeks, sometimes a whole year.
yeah,
And I finally got it out of my system. I mean, I'm a little older now, and I don't really. To me, I finally realized that I can't want the game more than the players playing. And that's my effect on the game as being a fan and hoping we win and rooting for them and all that. But I can't do anything else but that. So the outcome is really theirs, not mine.
yeah. I
Um,
agree, but I do have my superstitions. I have this black Georgia shirt that I absolutely love. Makes me look skinny. It's so cool looking. And I've worn it to the two times Alabama has beat Georgia. And so I vowed never to wear it again. And then I thought I'd matured and was like, I'm wearing it Saturday because I don't care. We should beat Florida and I have nothing to do with it. There's no way I control that
there you
game.
go.
And damn if I didn't take it off in the third quarter
Yeah,
because I was nervous. So I took it off and we came back and won.
there you go.
So I hate to
Well, I
say
said I
I'm
was
in control
mature
of our
about it.
destiny.
Yeah, I said I was mature about it, but I didn't. I am still superstitious. I have a Herschel Walker, replica jersey that I used to wear, and I was so happy when I got it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna wear this, and then we're gonna go back to the day of just running over people. This is gonna be awesome.
Ah,
And
nice.
every time I've worn that jersey, we've lost. Every time.
Oof.
So I have this wonderful Herschel Walker 34 jersey hanging up in my closet, and I just don't wear it. You
Gotta
know,
keep it
I'm
there.
like you. I know I'm like you. I've taken it out a few times when the outcome seems to be no problem, right? Like we're playing East Texas, Louisiana Barberschool.com. And like, all right, this will be good. I'll put it on and we'll have to be 3 and out and punt on the first series and they come down and score a touchdown. I'm like, all right, hell with this, taking the jersey off.
Well, I wonder if like you could cast the demons like Ted Lasso, where they you
Yeah.
obviously you can't burn it and still wear it, but maybe you wear it against who we played, College of Charleston or something in a couple weeks.
I
Maybe get a
guess.
little
I mean, we'll
mojo
see.
back. I don't know. There's got to be a
Yeah.
way. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to figure
Yeah.
that out. Well, before we dive into what we want to talk about today, I've got some Smash or Trash UGA edition.
All
So
right.
let's see. I'm going to start with one that drives me crazy. What's that coming down the track? Smash or Trash?
I like hearing other people sing it, and it'll pump me up depending on where I'm at. But overall, I'm gonna have to say trash because I don't really get into it.
Hey, it's trash for me too. Like I just think it's obnoxious. Like a drum obnoxious. Like I figure I got more to offer. Like I don't know. I used to love it, and oddly, I still cheer it. After a couple beers, I'll say it.
Mm.
I just think, come on, we can do better than that. It's like LSU's, you know, S that Tiger D chant. Like I cannot believe those people do that. Like you can't even take your child to a football game. God, we're old. Listen to us talking about
Well,
inappropriate, but I don't know. There's a line.
well, I could be biased, of course, but if I look around the league, right, or look around the SEC, I don't ever cast Georgia or our fans as very obnoxious. I mean, we bark,
Oh shit!
right,
That we
and
are the
and and
most
we,
obnoxious.
well, I don't
That
know.
barking when
I
they
never have.
no, I think
I
that's
mean,
I
I
guess
never
it's the
thought we were. Yeah.
yeah. I don't think anybody does, but when those kids are like one kid's on all fours barking at the other team's visiting, like and they're acting like he's on a chain, I'm like that's ridiculous.
Well, I got to say, I mean, my family, my kids will back me up on this. My second hatred, there's Florida. We already mentioned that, but my second one is Notre Dame. We'll have to have a whole
Oh
nother
yeah,
podcast
yeah.
just on that.
We're a little
But
off.
when we beat Notre Dame the last time we did, I actually was rolling in the floor, barking like a dog in my family room in my house. So, I think it's still there. It's still there.
No, nothing wrong with that. I just think I kind of like when you're tailgating, when people are on your campus, I think you give them a good luck, and maybe a little go dogs, maybe
Yeah.
like, but the whole getting in people's face and that's obnoxious. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. The arch, the arch. So I took Max to Athens. I mean, he had been since he was a kid, and I was just telling him you can't walk under the arch until you graduate. And he was like, "But
Right.
we just did." I was like, "I know, I forgot."
I
Smash or
love the
trash, the
arch.
arch superstition. Is that even still a thing anymore?
I think it's a thing. I mean, I communicated to my kids, when we went up there and they walk around it. We don't, they walk around it and I walk under it. My wife, Stacy, she walks under it. But that's it. Yeah. We try to
Okay.
honor that tradition.
All right. I like it. I'm gonna honor it for now on. What about smash or trash ringing the chapel bell before the game just for the novelty of it? Because you hear it ringing all day long.
So I gotta be honest. I rang the bell on my tour of the campus before I became a student. And I don't think I rang the bell again till, I don't know, years after graduating. I rang the bell maybe once. My kids have rang it a couple times, but I bet they've probably rung it more than I have. I never did when I was in school.
Yeah. I don't remember if I did or not because I feel like all my apartments were on South Side or I don't know.
Yeah,
We just were, that wasn't the focus. But then, I know in my 20s, I for sure rang it every time because we'd always leave the game, walk downtown. You pass it,
gotcha.
we rang it. I don't know. Good times. Good times. What's your
Yeah, I
favorite
was on the.
Georgia
Go ahead.
cheer?
Oh, I still like when I'm in the stadium and they have the half the stadium's going go, the other half's going dogs, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool. Also, when I was a freshman there in '89, we used to do the cheer. they'd have the broadcast system or whatever up microphone, and one of the cheerleaders, one of the male cheerleaders, would say, "Get the ball, get the ball, get the damn ball."
Ah,
And that kind of went away. I don't remember hearing that throughout the time, and of course, when we were there during Ray Goff's years, we needed that chant because
oh
we didn't
yeah.
have the ball too often.
Well, and I've not been, the students really take up that student section now. Like I felt like all in my 20s and 30s, we all went to the student section
Oh
and
yeah.
sat just because I like being next to the band and just the energy over there. But I haven't sat over there in a while, so they could still be doing that. I don't know.
It could be. And
I
the
like,
other tradition, I used to like to go throw on a hat, pull it way down on my head, and I could still make it downtown to the bars and go out to a live music or a band or something.
yes.
And I remember being 28 years old, and I realized I had become that guy in the bar, that had that looked like he was out of place because his hat was pulled down too far or whatever. So I quit doing it. But
Yeah. Well, now I remember I felt like I was like 24 and felt too old. I just, now I don't even try, or now I don't care, maybe.
yeah,
But there's a big difference between 21 and 25, oddly. I always
for
felt
sure.
old at 25. So I think the greatest tradition, maybe in all of college football, is what is it, where he plays the trumpet. What's that called?
Oh, the battle hymn
Battle
of
hymn
yeah,
before. I mean, that
yeah,
gives me chills still, even watching on
that's
TV.
pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's pretty cool.
Well, we
I
won the
still
game.
like it. I still like it when they run out of the tunnel down there and they break the
Yes.
big sign and the banner. I mean, I've
Yes.
yet to be at a game, no matter when, and not just felt like I wanted to run through a brick wall myself. I'm
Yes.
so fired up.
Definitely. The Saturday in Athens song and the I don't know the names of these songs, but the music and everything is pretty awesome. It's loud
Yes.
and it's pretty cool, pretty cool. So we have had a crazy season. Like everybody says they talk about being stressed. Like I wasn't really stressed Saturday because I feel like we're gonna come back and win. Like I don't have that. I'm like mad. I guess there is a little stress. I was angry because I'm like, why are we not up 25 points? Because I didn't think that Florida team was very good. But I really felt confident that we were going to win that game the whole time. Like I was
Well,
just felt good about it.
I think you hit it on the head, right? Is I don't get stressed about it as much as like Saturday, I got irritated.
Yeah.
It's irritation and anger for me. And, of course, that leads to stress over time, I guess. I don't know. But my ires turn towards, and I'm probably not breaking any ground with this, but my ire turned toward Mike Bobo as the offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah.
And what gets me is he's not consistent. And I'm sure there's a reason why, and my feeble football mind don't get it. And so that's fine. That's probably out there. But what I don't understand is how you can go from lighting it up against Ole Miss, right? Scoring on every possession, maybe not a touchdown every time, field goal, whatever, and then going back against Florida. Hey, it's 3rd and 35. Let's run it up the middle. Nobody will suspect that.
Yeah.
And it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Well,
I
my,
think he
my
needs to go
friends
somewhere. Go ahead.
my friends would argue that he's setting something up. He is always setting something up for down later in the game. And that's why we can pull things out later in the game because he is always setting up a play by running something that's very predictable a few times and then drawing defenses into certain things and then flipping it later during the game. I don't know if that's true because I agree with you. Like if you just score a whole shit ton early, you ain't got to worry about trying to come back at the end of the
Right.
game.
I think he's probably the world's greatest, or he should be considered the world's greatest 2-point conversion offensive coordinator because every play that he's got apparently is good enough to get us 2 yards.
Yeah.
That's about it. So we should go for two every time we score. And we
Yes.
should be able to get, high percentage of that should count because literally, I mean, that's what he gets. He get 2 yards at a time or whatever, just drives me up the wall.
Yeah,
But
and I don't know enough to know whether he's doing great or bad. I know what I like and what I don't like, and I get angry,
yeah,
but I'll leave the arguing to the people that study it and listen to all the chat rooms and all that stuff. We'll leave that to them. So We'll
True.
just have
And the proof in the end is in the, in the standings, in the score. So we won. I like that before each game, each week, social media comes out is what does Georgia have to do to win against whoever? And my answer is the same every time. We just got to score more points than them,
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
very
not to
true.
say our defense is good or bad or whatever. That's literally whoever wins the game got more points. So
Yeah.
that's what I say.
Yes,
That's my
definitely.
enlightened view now as being so
Exactly.
old.
Exactly. And I think we have to keep it simple because as stressful as it is at our age, we can't handle having heart attacks,
I,
dying out on the field with, being too stressed out over these football games. I watch my friends
I,
and they're just over the top, angry still at every play. I'm like, I got to pick and choose. I can't handle all that.
yeah, I'm sensing a segue here, is what I'm sensing.
I was trying. I was trying. You called me out. Yes, we're going to move into life after, hell, I don't know, life after 40, life after 45. I've really felt great all, my whole life until really the last few years where the knees start giving out and I don't know, I don't feel as invincible as I used to. So I don't know. What do you think? Are we getting old or are we still young? 50's the new
Yeah.
30, right?
Well, I think we're getting old. I think it depends on what you do as well. Sometimes you can sit around, on the sofa or whatever, and if you're not doing anything, you're not going to really stress your system to feel like you're tired or old or whatever because you don't know. You're just not doing anything. Of course, eventually you'll, die of a heart attack or something like that because you're not active, and that's what happens. But for me, 37 years old is when I started feeling old, and I'm a lifetime soccer player. I've been playing soccer my whole life, and love it. And I eventually 37 is when I started having to stretch before the game and after the game. And everybody on my team or everybody in the league, I played in a league that was open, so I was playing with high school kids as well. And they all laughed at me because I was the old man out there that had to do all the stretching. So that's when it hit me. And of course, then
Yeah.
after that, it's just a chain of events, blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, blah, blah, blah. So,
So you had a big event. What happened to you? Which I didn't even know until we were talking the other day.
well, COVID hit and I pretty much quit doing everything. I was working 115 hours a week for an IT project and COVID hit and I was miserable, wasn't doing anything, quit exercising. The only thing I was doing really, really good was drinking and eating. I drank like a fish and ate like a king or whatever. And it caught me. So I think what, 20 2023, I think. Whatever, January 25th of 2023 or 2022, I can't remember which one, but I ended up having a massive heart attack.
It was
And
massive.
well, it was massive.
It
What
sounds like
happened?
an adjective, but it's actually a. It's not an adjective in that word, correct?
Well, to me, anything you put in front of it really don't matter because the second part of it is what counts, right? You had your heart, not doing what it's supposed to do and fighting against you for a time. Quick story is I woke up in the morning and I felt horrible. I had the worst case of acid reflux you've ever had in your life. That was the only symptom I had. Just I took a bunch of Tums. I took a bunch of whatever heart burn medication. Nothing helped. And my wife Stacy, she's like, "You look terrible, and you need to go to the hospital." So the place I would have gone had I called an ambulance or something is a terrible hospital, and I didn't want to die from the hospital I was going to. So I drove myself over to the emergency room of a different hospital, walked in, and to make a long story short, I thought I had some kind of gastro thing on my stomach or whatever. And they took blood, and whatever count that I was supposed to have that was supposed to be like 150 or something was like 6,000. And it turned out I had a heart attack. And they told me that, we got a heart cath lab upstairs. If you want to go take a look and see if there's something wrong, we can fix it in like 25 minutes. I said, sold. So we went up there. They pumped me up full with fentanyl. And that kind of freaked me out. I'm like, what am I? I'm on fentanyl. They said, hey, you're in a hospital. We're good. We know what we're doing. I was like, okay.
It's the
Of
good
course, then I
fentanyl.
didn't care anything afterwards. Yeah, yeah. So they said I ended up having a 100% blockage of my widowmaker artery. And that's what happened. So I, could have probably passed away anytime, just whenever
Wow.
it decided to act up.
So
But the minute they put a stent in, and the minute they put that stent in, I felt fantastic from there
really,
on. Yep, yep. Because
wow.
the widowmaker artery is what gives your heart 50% of the blood that it gets. So for whatever time, I was missing half the blood that's supposed to go to my heart.
So what's the difference? I guess here's what I would love to share with people and for myself, or because like we're all stubborn macho men. Like I felt really bad. Like I wonder if this is it. Like how do you when? What's the difference? Like what was the difference in the feeling that made you go to the hospital versus, God, I just feel like shit. I wonder what I ate, or oh my God, I just
Right.
you know flu or whatever. I don't know. What made you
Well,
go? What was the difference?
the fact that I couldn't recover from the horrible acid reflux, and no matter what I did, I couldn't recover from it, and nothing was curing it. So I literally thought that I had something wrong with my stomach. And when I got to the hospital, they had given me a cocktail for whatever stomach thing you have. And that's how they told me about the heart attack about 45 minutes later when the doctors came by and they said, James, how's your stomach feeling after that cocktail? I said, not good at all. It still feels the same. And the guy looked at me, no kidding, he said, yeah, we know that. And it's because you had a heart attack.
Wow.
So that's how I was told. I'm,
So you
laying in the
didn't know
bed.
that. Was that
I'm
always? I'm very ignorant because I don't like acid reflux. Like, is that a sign of a heart attack typically? Like, how would?
Well, it's one of the signs, right? There's multiple different ones, and I didn't have any of the classic symptoms. They say you have a heart attack, it feels like an elephant on your chest or whatever. I didn't feel any of that. No arm hurting, no left arm tingling, no hearting or whatever. Literally, the only thing I had was just like, again, worst acid reflux you could ever think of times 100, and that's what
Wow.
it was.
So
So
what did?
when they go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish that part.
Well, then a little bit of humor comes in, right? So after they told me that, they said, we got this heart cath lab, and you want to, if you go, we'll fix it up. I said, sure. Next thing I know, laying in this room, they're getting me ready to go. There's 7 nurses in the room, and I'm buck naked on a gurney, and they're shaving me,
Nice.
getting me ready to go. And one of the nurses is checking my vitals, and she's like, "Well, Mr. Walls, your vitals are pretty high." And I'm like, "Well, no kidding. I'm naked in a room full of 7 nurses. I mean, I'm not accustomed to this, right? It's not a normal Wednesday for me." So finally got me all calm and everything, and took me up and did the thing. So there you go.
Wow. So what have you changed? Like,
Uh,
I'm sure right away you were like, I'm going to eat healthy and I'm eating salads and I'm going to do this, that. Like, does that continue? Is it
yeah,
where
yeah.
are you
So
at?
I'm laying in the hospital room. Got lots of time to think, and all kind of stuff connected to me, making sure that I'm not going to go. And I started thinking, I'm going to give up some things, make some changes, and all that. I really enjoyed at the time, a cocktail when I watched football. So got rid of that. Basically, the litany of things that I've quit. I don't drink anymore, so no alcohol. I cut out all red meat, cut out pork, cut out processed foods, processed meats. I don't eat any deli meats anymore, no sub sandwiches or anything like that. I cut out fried food. However, I still eat French fries every now and then. I mean, that's kind of hard to get around that. I've cut out everything else, so I need a little bit of something. And I just really watch the sodium. I don't use salt and pour it in anything. If it's in something that I'm using already, I'll make sure that it's not too high, and I kind of go from there. So that
Are
was
you,
probably the hardest thing for me because I love flavorful foods. I love, ethnic kind of foods and flavorful foods. So I had to figure out a way how to still eat those, but eat them healthy. And luckily I found a way to do that. So
yeah.
pretty
So
good.
I think I could give up. When I say give up alcohol, I mean I've already highly cut back, but I still want a beer once. I don't know. I would want to have a beer once in a while, but I could give up the 10 beers on a Saturday during football season if I had to. I
Yeah.
mean, probably getting close to that anyway, since I don't go to as many games. It's either football or the lake. That's the only time I drink more than 3 beers in a sitting. So that's changed a lot. It ain't an every Friday night thing anymore. Hadn't been for a
Right.
while. So.
Well, I'll be honest,
Uh,
that probably was the hardest thing was we go to the lake. We go to Altoona, when it's nice. We go usually every weekend during the season. And it's 105 out and it's, boiling hot and you're out there and a cold beer sure does taste good at the time. So later on, I don't know, probably in the last couple months, I've picked up, I'll drink a non-alcoholic beer. And they've come a long way. I mean, I used to laugh at people that did that back in
yeah,
college, the whole O'Doul's thing or whatever.
yeah.
But I drink the
So is it the
Budweiser makes a
alcohol in
good
the
one.
beer that is bad for you, or is it the wheat and the barley? And I figured it was all the calories. I mean, really, what
Well,
is the?
that's the other thing too, is the calories. You think about it, you come back home, like it was nothing. I'd come home on a Friday night, and we'd have, pizza or something like that. We'd typically try to eat bad on a Friday just to, celebrate the week or whatever. So I'd have, some pizza and, drink 10 beers or whatever. And if you look at, I used to love Modelo, and I don't want to throw a lot of commercials around on the podcast here, but I really
Hey, we might
enjoyed
get sponsored.
Modelo. And yeah, there you go. And,
Heart attack free
yeah,
alcohol, maybe.
but, you drink 10 of those, and what is that, like 1,300 calories right there sitting on top, almost your daily allowance. And then combine the pizza on top of that, and you're doing nothing afterwards but going to bed. So it's a wonder it took so long actually for me
Yeah.
to have the heart attack. It's
So
probably the blood pressure.
it's not a carbohydrate thing. I'm just trying to think. Like I've seen so many commercials lately of they're making these cheese. They're like putting on a skillet or a cast iron,
Yeah,
not cast iron, but just a flat, and making cheese almost like that's the bread. You just sprinkle a bunch of cheese
yeah,
down, fry it, or cook it until it all gels and is hard, and then you put your taco inside to get rid of
right.
carbohydrates. But I can't imagine that's very healthy. I mean, that's I don't know. What is the diet for no heart attacks? If you're getting rid of
Well,
meat,
yeah, you give things up, right? You give up some things, and some things you keep. It's like for me. I mean, that doesn't sound as profound as it was meant to be, but for me, I still eat chicken, fish, turkey, eat goat. Those are the things I eat,
oh, what are you,
right?
Jamaican?
From Dude, I love Indian food. It's one of my
Oh, yeah, that's
favorites.
true. I do
So
love Indian food.
I love that curry goat and what have you. So
I
that
do the
that is the thing
lamb
I
at the
enjoy.
I do the lamb at the Indian places though.
Yeah.
I've had the
Lamb's a
goat. It
little
is
more
delicious.
fatty than the goat, so I try to stick with that. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I was all worried, right? I was like, man, I love Indian food. I love Mexican food. I love Jamaican food. How am I going to do this without being able to, intake a lot of salt? And I found a place on Amazon that sells sodium-free spices. And that just opened up a whole new world. I mean, I've got
Oh,
Ethiopian spices, spices from Jordan, spices from Egypt, spices from all these places that I love, and no sodium in them. So I'm free just to have at it, man, and just use it like crazy, and I do. So it's good.
so what's
My
the?
flavorful foods actually went up after I
I
had the
bet.
little event.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're eating healthier foods, you really got to spice them right to make you enjoy them. Because there's so many unhealthy. I mean, just the unhealthy foods. It's the fat and all that stuff that tastes so good. So you got to get some good spices to make it taste good.
There you go.
So what's the one food that we need to give up at 50 years old? Or cut back on? I ain't giving anything up unless, I have to. But what would you say for anybody that might have heart attacks running in their family? What's the one thing they really need to cut back on?
Processed foods.
Processed food. Just,
Hot dogs, sausage on pizza, sausage in general. Processed foods because they're high in fat, high in salt, that's what
damn,
happened.
my favorite
Got to get them,
foods.
got to get rid of them, man. And then, every cardiologist I've ever talked with or had or saw, I mean, I'm the youngest patient in my cardiologist's office every, few months I go. And I feel like the Adonis when I walk in because I'm the only one that doesn't have like a walker and oxygen tanks on and all that kind of stuff. But so I walk in, and everyone I talk to, the number one thing you should give up for heart health, alcohol, every single time.
Really?
Alcohol,
Okay.
alcohol, alcohol. So,
I'm not going to
you
drink
know,
today just after this conversation.
so
Wow. What about
yeah.
exercise? Are you exercising?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I started walking after the heart attack as soon as I could. They wanted to see me first, a few days afterwards, and I started walking. I would do as much as I could, up to what, 3/4 of a mile, something like that. Then I would increase it. I was up to walking an hour on a treadmill, and like my God, I was bored. I'm like, can I just run some, please? And most of this was self-imposed. I was worried about stressing out and seeing. I didn't know how far I could go. So I called my cardiologist. I'm like, look, what's the deal? Can I actually start doing more than this? He's like, yeah, you're free. Do whatever, just monitor it and make sure you don't, pass out and die. So I started running a little bit. I remember the first time I ran a minute, and then I remember the first time I ran 10 minutes while I was walking and all that. So anyway, what I've got it up to now is as I try, I don't do it every single day, but my goal every day is to either walk or run a 5K, so 3.1 miles.
Wow.
And yeah, if I run no less than a 5K. Sometimes I'll run more. And then I walk. I track my walking, and I'm usually up around 4, 5, 6 miles a day, just going around, not necessarily having to go out and actually literally walk.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, we are
Mhm.
right at 30 minutes. We got to talk again because we have so much to talk about. You've got so much going on. Your real estate business, you've got other things. You have incredible ideas, and you are also starting your own podcast. You've actually got a couple great episodes out there. One with your daughter talking Harry Potter. That was a fun listen just because me and my kids, we like Harry Potter as well. And she was so well spoken. So enjoy that. What is your intentions for your podcast? What's the name of it? Where can they find it? And what's your intentions for it?
Yeah, appreciate it. So the name of the podcast is Moving On Up. At some point, I'd like to have the whole
Jefferson.
Jeffersons
Yeah.
song, yeah, playing in the background. But to me, I thought it was cool. It's kind of apropos, right? I mean, I get the real estate thing with moving people from house to house, but also I kind of took this a little bit from your podcast, man. I listen to your podcast. I know nobody that's been on there. I don't know anybody, but I feel like I know them afterwards. And I really love it because you don't talk about mortgages all the time. I know that's what you do, but it's rare. It's rare that you actually talk mortgages. And the people that you have on have been amazing. And I love it. So, anyway, to answer your question, I'm more on a little bit of real estate, but some lifestyle stuff too, and just things that are interesting and cool. I think I want to talk about. So, that's kind of it. You can find it on Apple on the podcast little app, and I'm sure it's around on Spotify as well. I've got that service sending it out. So yeah, moving on up with James Walls, and love to have some likes and listens.
Awesome. Well, I'll be out there for sure because obviously when I do it, I enjoy listening to other people talk and tell stories and anything with their kids or I'm not much for over learning. I like a little bit in there. I just like to be entertained. I like you know anything that's fun. So far I've enjoyed all your episodes. So I
Well,
will be a
appreciate that.
subscriber.
All right, all right. Well, now we got three. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, let's do this
All right,
again,
David.
James,
Well,
because
I
I do want
enjoyed
to
it.
talk
Yeah,
about real estate with you and your life journey, your career journey with IT and Lord AI. I would love to get in the conversation with you about that with somebody that probably knows how that's affecting more of us. Let's schedule that again for maybe December and get back on and talk.
yeah. Let's cue it up. I'm all for it. I enjoy it. So I appreciate the time, and good to talk with you always. And
All
we'll
right.
do it. Let's get it on the schedule. Thanks,
Perfect.
David.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Are you having a David day?